That was in time. And
I was
good.
really afraid. I was like, uh-oh, I'm drumming next to a drumming instructor. Crap.
No, that was good.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I really did not do well with the drums on Rock Band and Guitar Hero. I could do the guitar part nearly at the most difficult level. It was the top difficulty level I couldn't do because I have little hands. And so anything reaching with that pinky was tough. I could not do with Rock Band the drums on the basic level.
Really?
I couldn't, it was like, I wouldn't even get halfway through a song.
Yeah.
I was like, you're done.
Believe it or not, I struggled with drums on Rock Band.
Really?
Because it's not really like playing drums.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yes, the timing I was good at, but like, drum set is a very specific pattern.
Yeah.
Right hand doing one thing, left hand doing something else, right foot doing certain things, and your hands are crossed, and the Rock Band drum kit is not set up like that at all. So I actually struggled with it.
Okay. I feel a lot better then.
Okay, good.
Oh, hey,
it's people.
We're recording an episode. What's up, everyone out there? I wonder if you're going to have that clipped out. You'll probably put that at the end or put in bonus between.
Yeah, maybe I'll put it at the beginning.
If you're not on the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick to see what just happened. If you're new to the show, you're probably already hung up. But if you're not, you're still here, and you're saying, there go those two crazy guys without any hair between them. Yeah. And thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Whistlekick Martial Arts Radio over the last 10 years has become the #1 traditional martial arts podcast because of you and because you help share it. Jeremy Lesniak joined by Andrew Adams. We have a great time when we record this show. We do 2 episodes a week. We appreciate your guest and topic suggestions. Please keep them coming. Jeremy at whistlekick.com, Andrew at whistlekick.com. And on today's episode, we're going to follow up to an episode we did not that long ago
about a month ago.
About training tools. So in that episode, we talked about contemporary or conventional training tools. And today we're going to talk about some conventional training tools, things that we use and we see that may spark some ideas for you because, let's face it, variety is really beneficial when you're trying to develop skill among people. Mm-hmm. And the reason you don't do the same drill all the time, you do a bunch of different drills to attack the same skills in different ways.
But it makes it more enjoyable.
But it can make it a lot more fun. Mm-hmm. You can't learn without having fun. I challenge, or at least being engaged. And for most people, fun is the simplest way to bring engagement. Yep. And a lot of what we're going to talk about will give you some ideas. Now, we always ask for feedback, but this is one where I know we're not going to even scratch the surface of all the options out there.
No.
So please, whether it's in the Facebook group, Martial Arts Radio, page, the Facebook page, Martial Arts Radio, on Spotify as a comment, in the YouTube comments, wherever you consume this show, or email us. Let us know the tools you use and why and what you get out of them.
And how you use them.
How you get out of them. This is something that we could absolutely do a series on and maybe even do, we could collect video from people. That could be a lot of fun. I don't know where we're going to take this, but I think that this will be a lot of fun, so hopefully you enjoy it. Now, without further ado, let's start with the one that you brought up as an example, dice. Now, we actually do 2 different kinds of dice in my school. We have regular dice, which we started with, little plastic Monopoly dice. Six-sided dice. Mm-hmm. And we graduated to larger, 4 to 6 inch foam dice. Mm-hmm. And what we do with that is, in a lot of the classes, we will have, if we're doing, let's say we're doing push-ups or burpees as part of our conditioning in the beginning. I found it made a massive difference between me saying, we're going to do 20, and me saying, everybody in the front row is going to roll one of these. It changed everything. It became random. They were cheering on the dice to roll in a certain way, and it really broke this negative association with me saying, you're going to do 20, 30, 10
whatever
of this thing.
And let's face it, in most martial arts schools, we are used to doing things in groups of 10, right? There's only one reason I can possibly think of to do them that you would want to always do them in a group of 10, which would be you're teaching how to count to 10, right? In the language of the school, right? That's outside of that. Does it really make a difference if you do 10 push-ups or 6. Like, yes, I mean, it's 4 less push-ups.
But I think the better argument is 10 versus 11.
Yeah, whatever. Like, but I'm saying if you're rolling, we're going to do this many push-ups today. I'm going to roll 2 6-sided dice,
right?
And it becomes 8 because whatever. Is that, so what? But it makes it more enjoyable because it's the variety of not knowing.
And here's the proof that it changed everything. People wanted to roll the dice.
Yep.
Instead of saying, no, I don't want to do any more push-ups, they're like, I'll roll.
Yep.
And then sometimes we would mix it up a little bit, we're going to roll one more, they're tired. Who wants to roll it? And so now it becomes like a responsibility thing, like, somebody's got to roll it.
Yep.
But we play it up and everything.
Sure.
Now, we also have a second set of dice that we use. My school does things a little bit differently. We've talked about it on the show. We have 5 kicks, punches, strikes, blocks, stances. And so we have a set of 6-sided dice that I bought blank on Amazon, and I used a thin Sharpie to write the names of the techniques, and we use them to develop random combinations.
Yep.
And what's awesome is sometimes you end up with ridiculous combinations that you would have never thought of, and we've got to figure out a way to make it work.
Yep.
It's also a great self-training tool.
Yeah, because you could use them yourself and figure out how to make it work, right?
One of my students, Irvin, went on Etsy and had somebody make him an engraved metal set of dice.
Wow.
Like they're like 1.5 inches. They're really nice. They've got some good weight to them. And we've used those too. So dice. Now, of course, dice come in a variety of numbers. You can have 4, 6, 10, 12, 8, 20. There is 8, right? 8-sided. I've seen hundreds. And you could, because you're not going to fit whatever you're trying to do, unless you just, how many of these are we going to do? You could have a chart written out, 100. You could have 100 drills. What are the what's the warm up we're going to do today? Oh, number 37, it's on the chart. We're doing
there it is.
this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I love the randomization for 2 things. One, I already talked about. It breaks that negative association. And 2, it helps round out what we do because most of us tend to gravitate towards certain things that we really like or this is what we're working on. And there are times in class where you need some randomization to make sure that a student's involvement, education rather, is more complete.
Yep. And it makes it fun.
It does make it fun.
For sure.
Random is fun.
So that's dice.
Dice.
Here's a really, really simple one.
Okay.
Beanbag.
What do you do with beanbags? We use beanbags. I'm curious what you do with beanbags.
So we have, we have a dog in front of us right here. Oh, there's a nose. Yep. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. So we can have the beanbags lined up and people on either side of a beanbag in a push-up position. And when the whistle's blown, 2 people are fighting to who can get the beanbag
like
first.
Hungry hippos.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. Hungry hippos, right? Another thing we do it for in the kids class is we often will, because again, I'm talking kids class here.
Yep.
We'll end the class with jump rope. Oh, Daisy's moving our camera.
Daisy, don't move the table.
We'll end the kids class with jump rope, right? And the kids that, and we're teaching coordination and, oh my goodness, what are you doing?
Right. We gotta salute you, dog. We gotta salute you.
Okay. We'll end the class with jump rope, and the kids that get it and are doing well at jump rope will say, okay, person not jumping rope, take this beanbag and toss it to the person jumping rope and see if they can catch it. And we're working on hand-eye coordination. And again, we're talking about tossing, not throwing, right? Don't at me. But it's a useful tool for catching while you're doing things.
Yeah. We use beanbags, and we use them in a few different ways. One of the ones, I think we've talked about this game before, and it came as an accident. We call it stand up, sit down. And it started as I needed something. What we were doing, what was on the lesson plan was not working. I was like, I need to buy myself some time. I was like, sit down. Stand up. Sit down.
Yep. Okay.
And the kids had a blast with it. And they came in the next class, they're like, are we going to play that sit-down stand-up game of pin? I was like, are you kidding me? And it's actually become a core thing that we do because there's a cardio piece in there, right? It's a simpler burpee, but you could also add a lot of things in there. And one of the things that we've done is we've added direction changes. And the way that we've found is easiest for direction changes is we have 4 different colored beanbags. And we lay them around the room. And so we can say, punch red, and they have to face red and punch.
Gotcha.
So it's got them moving around. They're building awareness. And the different colors in there become really important. Now, of course, there's other things that we do with them. But those, I would say, those are the main ones that we're using.
Yeah. So those are a couple of things. I mean, we've used them for other things as well. But those are the biggest ones I can think of. Is Hungry Hippos is really fun.
Yeah.
And what's nice about it is they don't realize they're holding essentially a plank. I mean, they're not on their elbows,
but it's a really active plank.
Yeah. Yep. And they're holding it for much longer than they realize because they're so focused on the beanbag and like waiting to hear the whistle blow to grab it. And then like that's only half of it. Then once they got it, like they scored a point, but they then have to put it back. And they have to try and stay in that push-up position the whole time. So that's a really fun one.
There's a lot really there. I like that a lot. Similar to beanbags for us are foam balls, like things like Nerf balls. And we've got some in different sizes, different densities. And we use those for a lot of things, but the main thing we're using them for is coordination and the ability to hit something. So on Wednesday, we had students lined up and we were giving them different techniques that were part of what we were working on that day. And having them punch or kick them with the goal being to get it to travel straight and down the room.
Yeah.
Now, nobody's going to get hurt.
Exactly.
There's immediate feedback on timing and direction. And because that feedback's immediate, they can adjust on the fly. We don't need to tell them, hey, your punch did this. It was supposed to be this because the ball went that way. And they understand that.
Yeah.
And that worked so well. And there was we did this for 10 minutes. And there was rapid progress across that block of time.
Yeah, that was what I was going to mention when we had dodgeballs essentially like that. But we used them for dodgeball, right? At the end of a kid's class. Kids love it. They're jumping around. They're having fun. But then we realized, we can use this for actual, okay, I'm going to toss the ball and I want you to punch it or kick it. And so it's working that accuracy of, can you throw your technique where it needs to? It's great if we're standing still and we're punching the air and we're always punching the same spot, but you might be physically moving around. Right. Your opponent might be moving around, so that ability to target is crucial.
Right. We will also do it where the instructor pitches the ball to them.
You're being a real pain in the butt right now. I'm moving you. Come here. Dog break. There we go.
We will also pitch the ball, which allows us to get them to train awareness. There's a little bit more variability when a ball is pitched. Right? And that's why there's a pitcher in baseball, and even a pitching machine has some variability to it. And that has worked really well. It can be a lot of fun. There's also, surprisingly enough, the kids love picking up the balls after. And that allows us to practice listening skills and a whole bunch of other things. Everybody go get a certain number or
color or whatever.
Or whatever, right? Like there's a lot that we can do to mix that up. And the nice thing about everything we've talked about so far is it's very inexpensive.
Yeah.
And small, easy to transport.
Hula hoop.
We don't use hula hoop. How do you use them?
We have used them as, again, a bit of a fun game where you'll have a row of 10 kids all holding hands, and you'll take the hula hoop and put it on the arm of the guy on the end, and they've got to pass it all the way down.
Sure.
So you have to use communication with your partner to like figure out how to move it. We've also used it, I've actually used it in pause. I haven't used it. I have heard of other instructors using it as placing the hula hoop on the ground, and it was a larger hula hoop, not your quite typical size, a little bit bigger,
Sure.
for people who have been physically assaulted.
Mm.
And the only person that is allowed to go inside that hula hoop is the person that person feels safe with. Usually the instructor. Like other students don't go inside that bubble because it really gives them a physical, you can see it on the ground, barrier that makes them feel safe. And it's a very unconventional training tool that I could see. I've never used it myself, but I think we all can see that it'd be a very valuable tool.
I could see that. Yeah. If you have the space, and I think people who have hula hoops have dedicated spaces. It's one of the things about my schools. We're in different locations. We don't have our own dedicated space. But hula hoops also lend themselves to a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
We could imagine that having students shadow spar out of, in the hula hoop, one foot's got to remain out of the hula hoop.
Yep.
You've got to navigate, you put a bunch of hula hoops down and they've got to go around them. And actually, as I'm saying this, I think Corey might have some hula hoops and maybe I just don't see them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But hula hoops are pretty inexpensive.
Yep.
Foam noodles.
Foam noodles. Yeah. Yep.
So we've got noodles that we cut more or less in half, maybe a little less than half, that are stuck onto PVC pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And we use those as, I think Sensory calls them blockers, right? It's a budget version of that. And what's really nice about it is we keep the foam, they're not glued on or anything, you could glue them on, but we keep the end of the noodle out a little bit so you can also strike out. And it's roughly the size of a hand, of a small hand.
Yep.
And what we have found is that for a lot of people, not just kids, that is less intimidating to engage with, especially early on. A fist, you talked about assault in the past. There are people who are going to find your hand or your foot, no matter how slow and gentle it is, a throwback to a core experience in their life, some trauma. And so having this thing that is blue, all of our noodles are blue, to swing at them or to strike at them makes them feel a lot more comfortable. And we've used that as a great bridge between someone's newer experiences and getting them sparring.
Yep. And we have used pool noodles in the past for the same thing. We didn't start with them on anything. It was just the noodle itself. But we weren't striking with them in the same way. But we would use them for at the end of class, we'll set up an obstacle course where they have kids or stations where they have to come here and do so many punches, go here and kick the bag 3 times, and then go here and they have to roll over. We would use a pool noodle because that way, if they didn't do it and they knocked it off, it's not going to hurt them, right? It's not like a rigid pole, or you have to crawl underneath it. But if you hit it, it's just a pool noodle or whatever. Good user for that. And then I used to do foam sword combat, often called LARPing. And so I already had a bunch of these foam swords. So I would bring those in and I would use them. And for those kids that were comfortable with it, you can actually hit them. Now I'm putting hit in quotes. It wasn't hard, but it's like, okay, you got to do your overhead block because the sword's coming in and their arm would stop it. And the joke was, you got to stop my super sharp razor sword. But of course they see that it's foam and obviously it's a joke. And then it led to other fun games where using the sword, but they had to dodge out of the way and things like that.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up, that training a rising block. I have found that even on day one, if we swing this foam sword at a new student and just say, without moving, how would you block this? They get pretty close to all their basic blocks.
Yep.
It's pretty intuitive. When you do it with a punch or a kick, the intimidation factor, they start to overthink. So getting them, okay, I guess I would do this. Yeah. What if it's low? I don't know. I'd do that. Okay. Well, what if it comes from that side, but you got to use that arm? I don't know.
Yep, exactly.
Or maybe their hands open, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some press blocks, stuff going on, right?
But we didn't put pool noodles on the end of things until COVID. And we put them on the end of a 6-foot bow. So we could now attack them 6 feet away.
Yep. The other way that we use that I found this is really effective for people, whether it's trauma or youth, is we use, I'm into this coming out of Filipino martial arts, brush, grab, strike.
Mm-hmm.
And so we initiate that concept pretty early in our school, but we have them brush the noodle, grab the noodle, punch the noodle.
Mm.
And that works much better because they tend to flail when it's a person.
Yep.
And it ends up being slap, punch the shoulder. It's like, let's slow down. Brush, grab, and they punch the noodle. And they get it. And it works really well.
Rags.
Like bandanas?
Yeah, just bandana or bandanas, headbands, whatever rags. In our school, we had lots of rags to use them to clean, and we would take clean ones and use them in class.
You didn't use the dirty ones from last time?
No, we didn't use the dirty ones. And so sometimes the game that was most often done was you'd put the flag in the belt, and the students had to try and get it, and then you'd put the flag in the student's belt, and the other students would have to try and get it from them, and so that's a fairly common one. But the other one we would do is taking, standing in, for us would be like for us would be like a box stand. And you'd hold the rag up with one hand high above your head and then drop it and shift your stance into a forward stance with a punch. But your punch came and you had to grab the rag before it hit the ground. So it worked on speed, it worked on shifting of your weight, and it gave you something to actually physically grab. And sometimes the rag wouldn't fall completely straight down, so you had to work a little bit on your accuracy. And depending on the rag you got, if you got like a terry cloth, like a washcloth, it was pretty heavy and it would fall straight. But a bandana sometimes might end up moving, and so you had to adjust. And so it was really useful for that.
Yeah. Similar to that, and I bet you've used this before, X-ray film.
No.
You haven't used X-ray film?
No.
So what's fun about X-ray film is it's really cheap, and somebody holds the film for you and drops it, and you've got to hit it, and it falls way faster than you've ever imagined.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Once in a while, it'll cut. Like you talked about the bandana. Think about this, but usually it falls a lot faster than people think. And so the further away you are, you've got to go super fast. And so it's a great drill for timing. It's something when I had my original school 20 years ago, which is a weird thing to be able to say, we used that all the time, and students got fast with that. In fact, as I'm talking about this, we've got to get some X-ray film for our school.
Does it make a cool sound when you hit it?
It does.
Okay, that's cool.
It does. There's a wonderful, there's a little bit of physical feedback, but the audible feedback is significant.
That's cool.
And it's something that it's really safe. Like, you're not going to hurt yourself with it. So it's one of those drills that you can hand X-ray film, you can pair people up, and, do 5 and then trade off, and, start with punches, and how far back can you go, and, it could be a sparring drill if you're, okay, I'm going to drop this, and how far away can you make contact with that before it drops below waist level or whatever. There's a lot that can be done creatively.
Yeah, it's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. I'm thinking about what else is in, we call it big bag. It is a very large duffel bag that we bring from venue to venue. And we talked about most of the other things that are in there last time, but combining them. So we will use a mitt and the sword. And we've used it in a bunch of different ways. And again, it's usually to bridge the gap between being new and getting comfortable with sparring.
Yeah.
But sometimes we're doing it with more advanced students just because we want them to put down the typical stress that even trained slowly and gently arises from sparring. So if you and I are sparring and I've got a focus mitt or a paddle or a shield and a sword, this is my strike, this is my block. And maybe you're trying to hit this, or maybe I'm trying to use it to defend you. while I'm attacking you or while you're dodging, right?
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of ways you could do that. Sometimes we use these swords as well, similarly.
Yep. For the record, I love fighting sword and shield when I was sword fighting.
I believe that. You seem like that type.
Yep.
See, I don't like using a shield. I'd rather have a second sword.
Yep.
That's more my style.
That's it.
Actually, I'd rather have probably like a long dagger.
Like a main ghost.
Probably.
Yep. Anyway, we digress.
We do we tend to digress.
A lot.
The last one, we talked about this a bunch. This is the last one I'm thinking of right now, painter's tape. Painter's tape, which, by the way, is more useful than duct tape. Duct tape is great at what it does, but if you ever use duct tape for something that you wish you hadn't used duct tape for, you're very sad.
Yep.
Right? And yes, you could buy gaffer's tape, which is the amazing baby of duct tape and painter's tape because of the residue issue. But painter's tape is really cheap.
And gaffer's tape is not.
Gaffer's tape is not cheap. $20 a roll versus, $3 to $4 at Home Depot for some painter's tape. In fact, we're using painter's tape in an event this weekend. Painter's tape is great to mark out spots on the floor. It's great to mark out spots that you want to hit on a wall. I tell my students, like, if you're working, let's say you're working pick height, have a piece of painter's tape, and you have to kick above that. Even if you're not hitting the wall, it gives you a visual.
Probably don't hit the wall.
Probably don't hit the wall, but maybe you want to. And then over time, you can raise that painter's tape, and if you decide you want to take it off the wall, it's fine. It's not going to damage anything.
Yeah, I could see that being really useful. Not something I personally use, but I could see the variety of uses that would come with it.
You could also use painter's tape if you wanted to play a more gentle game of tag, and I stick it on you, and it's stuck there, and so we know I stuck it to you. There's no, because typically, how do people make sure that they make the tag?
Wow, hit you really hard.
Right? So if we were playing some games like that, to do that, that's not a thing we've done. That's been on the back of my mind though.
Interesting. Yeah. So we've talked about a lot of stuff.
There's a bunch of them.
There's a lot more. I'm curious what you guys
really want to see what people write in.
What do you use and how do you use it?
Yeah. Comment wherever you're watching or listening. If you would rather, you're welcome to email us, jeremy@andrew@whistlekick.com. And bonus points, super bonus points, if you send in a video of a drill.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah. And maybe we can get a few of them together and we can post them.
Awesome.
So, yeah. Thank you for watching or listening. Thanks for spending some time with us today. We're always happy to hear your comments, your suggestions, your feedback, even your critical stuff, which we don't get a lot of because we're amazing.
Yeah, sure, that's it.
I think it is. I think we do a really good job. We work hard to consider all opinions when we get into some stuff, and I think people feel respected.
Yeah, we're pretty even-keeled about that.
Yeah, we're not rage baity. That's not really our style. But of course, if you do have suggestions for topics or guests or anything else, we genuinely do want to hear them, so let us know. Whistlekick.com, whistlekickmartialartsradio.com. We're the #1 martial arts podcast for a reason, and that's because you all keep watching and listening. Until next time, train hard, smile, and have a great day.